So it's been quite a long time, guys. Nice to see you since I actually bought any records. Probably 7 or 8 months, the beginning of this year. Barely bought any. I was really not into buying records. But I went today to the local Goodwill store, and lo and behold, there was maybe 300 or 400 records there. Usually they might have maybe 50 to 60. But they did have a lot. I haven't been there in 8, 9 months. That's why. People probably, have missed a lot of great records, a lot of gems. But I haven't bought records. But I was like in the mood, so I said, let me get a few. You can't beat buying for $1. That's for sure. Buying for $1 each. I was able to find quite some, some decent things in pretty good shape. Also, the first one I'm going to start with is the actor, singer, musician, if you want to call him, from Australia. Soap opera guy, Rick Springfield, who actually is a pretty decent musician, pretty good decent singer. And this one's pretty cool. I've never seen this one. I've seen a few of his, and I've heard some of his music, not much. I'm not a big Rick Springfield fan by no means, but this sounds like it looks like it might be a good album, good music. The theme on it is comic book heroes, and I love comic books, so it's actually called that, Comic Book Heroes, Rick Springfield. And the cool thing about it is that it's all a comic book motif. I love the back where it says Super Rick Comic Group. You can see down there. This is pretty well done. That's why records are definitely gems. And then when you open it, it is really freaking cool because, there is Rick Springfield and his little acoustic. And you can see that the song titles are actually comic book covers. And this is very cool. I really enjoy that. This is one gatefold cover that is awesome. The record itself is in decent shape, good shape. It's been well taken care of. But the cover is pretty cool. There's good old Ricky. Rick Springfield, Comic Book Heroes, and there he is with his R and the lightning bolt in the front. Funny, cheesy, oddball record. Love oddball records, and this is one. There's quite a few oddball records here. You'll see. After that album, I used to own, and yes, I know, I love this band. I love their incarnations as the Airplane, Starship, and Jefferson Starship, and then just simply Starship. Only a couple, of course, of original members from the Airplane. One, of course, the beautiful, lovely Grace Slick was the album Knee Deep in the Hoopla, with the great song, #1 song, We Built This City, and which is not my favorite song. Actually, my favorite one is a more rocker with good old Kevin Dubrow doing background vocals called Rock Myself to Sleep. Poor Kevin, who passed away a few years back. Great album. It has the Inner, also the Starship Inner, pretty cool. Love Starship. This is a great album. Really is a great album. I have this in CD, but of course like vinyl, nothing to it. Cover in the back, very 80s, This came out in mid-80s, I think 83, 84, 85-ish on Grunt Records, of subdivision of, I think, RCA, produced by Peter Wolf, Jai Giles Band. I'll tell you when it came out. This came out 84, 85. Craig Chiquico, of course, good, very good guitar player. At least solo stuff. Another great one. This one, guys, is from a comedian who, I don't know if he's still alive. He's probably around 80 years old, at least minimum, 70-something, 80. You might know him for quite a few TV shows that he was in, especially his show, Bob Newhart. This is his first or second album. I think it's his first. It's a classic. This is a mono pressing. It's in excellent condition. Came out 51 years ago in 1960. It's called the most celebrated new comedian since Attila the Hun. It's the Button Down Mind of Bob Newhart. This is a mono first press, and it's in absolutely fantastic shape. I mean, to think that this album cost $1. I mean, just to show you, the inner sleeve is immaculate. Warner Brothers Records at the time, 1960. So it's Freddie Cannon on this, and the actual vinyl is in wonderful shape. It really is. I mean, so Warner Brothers, like a gold label on Warner Brothers, and it's a really, really great shape. This record. I mean, whoever owned this either barely played it, from what it seems, just kept the record very clean and everything. It's in great shape. It's one of these finds that you go, what, this album alone is well worth. I wouldn't say $1. This is worth probably 30, 40, 50 bucks or more. Just for what it is. It's a great comedic album, The Button Down Mind of Bob Newhart. I would say He's more like I don't know, an American in a British frame of mind. Meaning he's dry wit, dry comedy. I really enjoy. I enjoy British type comedians, and his is fantastic. Abe Lincoln versus Madison Avenue is a riot. I've heard this before. The Khrushchev landing rehearsal. Nobody will ever play baseball. And driving instructor, pilot script for a new TV series. It's a great album on Warner, Vitaphonic, High Fidelity Mono, First Press. It's in great condition. It really is monophonic, which it'll say on the little part over here. I don't know if you can see it, but it will say monophonic there. There we go. This crappy camera won't show it, but it is. So that on its own is a great find. Then there's this band, I think they're a British band. What caught my eye, never heard of them. That's a great thing about music record collecting, that, like I've said, and other people have said in their videos, you never know all the bands. It's impossible. This band was produced by none other than AC/DC, Def Leppard, Bryan Adams, famed producer, Robert John Muttlange, British, and it was recorded. This one was recorded actually in Rockfield Studios, Monmouth, England, which I think Gillian, Deep Purple, all the bands have recorded. The band is called City Boy, or was called City Boy. I think they're British, if I'm not wrong. Haven't heard it. I like the cover. It says Dinner at the Ritz is the name of the album by the band City Boy. Great cover. In the back, they're all very well dressed. There's even a song that has a table number 7. They're all songs are table number 1 through 7, called State Secrets, a Thriller. It's divided into State Secrets, Heavy Breathing, and Spring in Peking. The band is composed by Lowell Mason, Steve Broughton, Max Thomas, Mike Slammer, Chris Dunn, and Roger Kent. Both albums that I did pick up were produced by Muttlange. I gotta hear this because I'm into him. This other one by City Boys called The Day the Earth Caught Fire. Basically the same band. I need to hear it. It has great songs. I mean, a song that's called The End, Came Easy, then New York Times. It's Only the End of the World, Interrupted Melody. Sounds pretty cool. Love the cover with the bike, and as you can see, there is a fire in the street. So I need to hear that. There's another one, and I do enjoy bluegrass music. I do have a little bit of it. I haven't shown on videos. I'll show on later videos. This is another first press on stereo by the group called the Banjo Barons, and the album's called Banjo's Back in Town. It's 36 all-time banjo favorites, arrangements by Jimmy Carroll. Songs like In the Good Old Summertime, A Tisket, A Tasket, Take Me Out to the Ball Game, My Blue Heaven, My Gal Sal, The Yankee Doodle Boy, Meet Me in St. Louis. And it's all banjo music. So that'd be really cool. It's on Columbia. It's a first press. I think it's 1961 or 62. I could be wrong on that. Spider-Man fell, by the way. He's been a bad boy today. I don't know what's going on with him. One of my Spideys that are protecting my records. But like I said, it's Columbia Records. It's a first press. I want to hear it. The album is heavy, so I love that. There is the red label that Columbia had back in the day. Love that label also. Gonna hear this. Living as I've lived in the South for over 12 years, actually 13, now living in the Northeast. I lived in California too. I lived in, Midwest, East Coast, West Coast, South. Being subject in a great way to many different styles of music, which I enjoy, so I'm not closed-minded, and that's, reflective on my record collection. Of course, it leans heavily on rock, classic rock and stuff, but I also love jazz, and I have early hip-hop, R&B, country music. This one, I loved for the cover. This is a Maryland gospel band. They were called, I don't know if they're still around, the Jubilators Quartet. Thanks for Loving Me. It's a single album, but it has the American flag. They're a beautiful cover. It's all gospel songs. This is good. I mean, just by looking at it, it says the Jubilators Quartet, Route 4, Cumberland, Maryland. About 40 minutes from where I live, more or less. Take a little bit on traffic. Love the cover on them. This was probably 74-ish, 75-ish, something like that. This was on a Jubilant Recordings. Who knows what this label is anyway. Custom recorded by James Hodgkins, Reading, Pennsylvania. But the cover on itself is just beautiful. Here comes another oddball. I always wanted to get this. I've seen this. It's good old Captain Kojak, the Greek-American Telly Savalas. There he is singing songs like Something by the Beatles. And I have to hear that. And Rubber Bands and Bits of String. I have to hear this. This definitely he has to qualify as Golden Throat album. Love that cover of good old Telly Savalas. The back, there's some woman there. Good old Captain Kojak. Funny that they, would have been funny if they would have, in my opinion, put this record of him with his famous lollipop. Buffie St. Marie, Canadian, Native American Indian, if I'm not wrong. Haven't really heard her music, but picked up an album called Changing Woman. Actually, love the way that they did the cover. I know she is or was beautiful, great songwriter. Some songs here I think I've heard, like Man, All Around the World, and Mongrel Pup. I know up in Canada she was huge. It's nice to pick up a first pressing of her album on MCA Records. Then, I didn't have this, I have a few Ole Yellow, Electric Light Orchestra. First greatest hits, as you know, containing songs from their first albums, like Roll Over Beethoven, Evil Woman, Strange Magic Mama Bell. Good shape, good shape. This one is another great find. This one is an awesome find. I have two other LPs by them. Great British band, Liverpool band, Gary and the Pacemakers. This one is called Don't Let the Sun Catch You Crying. It's a mono first press on Laurie Records, and this was a find to get. This is definitely a find to get. This one, for $1 is a find. This is a really great album. It has, even gospel songs like You'll Never Walk Alone that Elvis did a great version of. Slow Down, How Do You Do It? Don't Let the Sun Catch You Crying, the name of the album. Jambalaya, also Maybelline, the Chuck Berry song. This is a find, and the album is in great shape, and it's a mono first press of Gary and the Pacemakers. You can tell, the times, everybody dressed the same, Beatlesque, the influence of the Beatles, but, what a find on Laurie Records. Great find. Another album I didn't have, it's a compilation of. Now, I have a lot of the early Small Faces albums, like Ogden's Nut Gone Flake, Long Player, which they're ready where the faces. There is but the Small Faces. I know I have this is a greatest hits. Well, that's not greatest hits. It's 72 on MGM Records of when they were starting without Rod Stewart, called Early Faces by the Small Faces. It has songs like My Mind's Eye, What's the Matter Baby, What You Gonna Do About It, Sha La 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 Lee. And it's the actual cover is beat to crap, but the vinyl inside is in very good shape. I did play a little bit of this, and it's Early Faces by the Small Faces. It is a first press. Came out in '72 when they were with Rod Stewart. Not bad. Another album I didn't have, a band I do enjoy and I've heard, is Wishbone Ash. This is their classic album called Argus. It is a first pressing. The cover again is beat to pieces, but the record inside is in great shape. It's a gatefold, first pressing of Argus. And what I didn't realize, it's something, this has a theme that I enjoy, actually, which is UFOs. And I didn't know, just by looking, the first time I've seen it, there is an actual, you can see the UFO right there. You see the UFO. Just look at it, and you'll see the tree line. And to the left, up above the mountain to your left, you can clearly see in a Adamski type UFO, which is pretty cool. And, these guys were great. The Andy Powell, Martin Turner, Ted Turner, the brothers, Steve Upton. The King Will Come, I've heard that. Sometime World, I've heard that too. And I've heard Throw Down the Sword. Beautiful, and it really sounds great. The album is in great shape. That's what counts. I'm not too picky about if the album is in 100% great shape. For $1, it sounds great. There's no scratches, no hissing barely. What more can you ask? Me, the way I clean them, put a little soap on them very carefully, a little bit of warm water, clean them up, sound great. Another great find. This is a promo copy of none other than one of my favorite British blues rock bands of all time, Fleetwood Mac. This is one of his solo albums that he did before, unfortunately, he went mental, insane, crazy, poor man, not easy, And it's by Danny Kirwan, ex-guitarist of Fleetwood Mac. And this album is called Hello There, Big Boy. And look at the cover. Danny looks a little nutty in the cover, distressed or crazy or wacky. Beautiful woman by his side. It's a promo copy, and I haven't heard it, but I know that Bob Weston is also playing on this, So I want to hear this. Look at the cover. Quite odd, quite funny. Oddball. He was a great guitar player. I know he's alive, but I don't know what's up to him. Last I heard, he was homeless. And this is from my motherland, from Spain. This is an old album called, it's a flamenco, actually. They just named it Flamenco. The Ramon Montoya dance group with Juan Ortega on guitar. I love flamenco, and it's an old album. It's a mono album on Coronet Records, which used to release a lot of albums from Spain. They were out of 40th Street in New York, but the cover is awesome. I love the flamenco cover. Ole! So those are the oddball and cool records finds I got for today, Tuesday, July 26th, in Maryland. And it's nice that I finally got some records again. You know, I don't have any space really to put them living in a one-bedroom apartment, even though it's a big one-bedroom. So that's why I'm going easy. 15, 16 records I got is a lot. So for a while I won't be buying any more. Doubtful I'll go to any stores. At least, you know, I have much more restraint than I used to have. Economy-wise also, you know, you have to look for yourself first when it comes to what's more important, paying rent, gas, and food and electric than buying records, obviously. But, you know, wanted to show you the finds. Hope you like them, and I'm going to post a later video of a great find that I bought. I got a great pair of computer and TV speakers. Awesome. Got them at a store. Only paid $13 for these speakers that are right now in the store, Best Buy or any store like that, over $150. They're in great shape, and they're the older model. They're Klipsch Pro Media 2.1. I'll show those in a later video I'll do. So I hope you had a great one, guys. This is Loco saying peace out.